Welcome to Afikra's annual Youth Summit. Our lovely student moderator for this panel is Cherry. I will leave the floor to her.
It's lovely to meet you both. I'm so excited to be in conversation with you two today. So the first question is for the both of you. I was wondering, how did you get started in the field of human rights advocacy?
My journey is really deeply rooted in my personal identity and my family history. My earliest memories are of me as a child protesting, holding signs at demonstrations, attending conventions organized by my father. I went on to get this degree in global affairs, which I concentrated on the Middle East and North Africa because I was so interested in the region. And so today I work in strategic communications, but I'm a self-taught comms person and a self-taught advocate, meaning I didn't graduate with the degree in that field. So for the last decade, I've used those qualities to really support Arab American civil rights and now Palestine refugees, as UNRWA calls them, through humanitarian fundraising and advocacy for their humanitarian needs and rights.
Very different to Laila. Hi, everyone. I'm Hafsa, born and raised in the southwest of England, Plymouth. Second generation Iraqi Egyptian. I wanted to explore my heritage after I left university, and I promised to go to Egypt for like a year. Stayed a bit longer, revolution, uprising, and I worked on supporting political parties. So everything from campaigning, legal frameworks for elections, get out the vote. And I was sent as an election observer to Upper Egypt, where I covered 3 rural governorates. And then got into a bit of trouble, as is the story of revolution. Things don't go according to plan, and ended up charged with 42 other international NGO workers and ended up getting sentenced to a year in prison, which was suspended for 3 years. I never went to jail. But it meant that what was a sabbatical turned into this whole career change.
Could you please tell us a bit about your work at UNRWA USA?
For any of you that are Palestinian or who grew up in the Middle East, you may be familiar with UNRWA. The UN agency that my nonprofit supports is the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees. The nonprofit I work for is an independent American group. We advocate for their humanitarian needs, and the people who we're serving are those who lost their homes and their livelihoods as a result of the Nakba. UNRWA has been providing them with education, healthcare, social services. As the director of communications, my work is really focused on building up the brand of our nonprofit, communicating the plight of this refugee population in plain language and using storytelling to win more American hearts and minds for the cause. This is not an issue that we learn about in school, and it's not a narrative that we see accurately portrayed in the media, especially now.
Have you changed the way you think about social media as a positive tool over the course of your careers?
Social media has always been a necessary evil in my career. You really have to be leveraging trends, optimizing your content for visibility, and try to foster these genuine connections and real community. It's not just about posting anymore. And so, my work, we're very focused on Instagram, TikTok, and now LinkedIn. And we know that the algorithm actively suppresses Palestine-related content, advocacy-related content. At the same time, our platforms have really grown since October. It's been a necessary evil, like I said, in some really like where we need it, but we want to also set boundaries so that it doesn't completely consume us, so that we can continue doing the good work we need to do.
You cannot avoid burnout. I think for all of us, my burnout came in 2022 when Russia invaded Ukraine. And having worked for so many years on the very basic fundamentals of keep a humanitarian corridor open in Syria, get some, stop people from trying to normalize Bashar al-Assad, trying to get human rights abuses in Egypt held accountable for, really small things compared to what we're dealing with now, which is this fundamental question of rights and morals and ethics and everything. You get to a point where you have to decide for yourself how you want to work in the system, who you're doing it for, and what you want to do.
To end, what advice would you offer to the upcoming generation of young leaders interested in government and advocacy?
I think it's really important that you hone in on your public speaking, on your strategic planning, on your analysis, be able to think critically, really build a strong network of connections, because advocacy is about relationships. Make yourself uniquely you and do what you love. So that's my advice for now. Hafsa, you want to close it out?
The lesson for me has been really about differentiating what is my work and what do I do because I'm passionate about it, because I care, and this is how I want to work, versus who I am. Learn to really have that work-life balance. You can't learn being an advocate. You can learn advocacy skills, but you either want it or you don't. And there's no shame in either.
Thank you to you both, and thanks to Cherry and Ghiya and all the other volunteers and students that made this possible. So happy to have you guys be a part of the summit, because you've been such a big part of afikra over the years. So nice to have you on here.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Congratulations as well.